Hi, my name is Gaboury. I'm with the GabouryTeam.com. I'm here to talk to you about how to get your house sold without spending any unnecessary money. As we all know today, it's a buyer's market in this area, so we're trying to make the path as clear as possible to take out any obstacles we possibly can so that the buyer has the easiest time to buy your home. So when we're sitting down and we're talking with the seller, getting ready to list, one of the things we're going to be talking about is a real property report. So we want to pull that out, have a look at it. On the real property report, it'll show that the house, obviously, on the land survey, a deck, fence, sheds, whatever buildings you have, depending on in town or in acreage. So it shows up on that. So if everything's current, we're good to go. If there's some stuff that's missing off the real property report, like fence or a deck or something to that effect, then we have to get it updated or a new one shot. So an update would be is phoning the company that originally did the RPR. It'll show up on the RPR who did it. If they're still around, you can give them a call. They're generally about half the price of what a new one is. If we can't get them to update, then the new one's again about $800. So you get that updated. Once you get that back, they'll give you a copy, about 6 copies. You're going to take about 4 of them down to the city or the municipality you're living in, and they will do an inspection. So they'll inspect that it follows bylaws and safety codes of the municipality. If there's something that's encroaching or something like that, that's why we want this done right away, is so we can deal with it. If we have to move something, at least if we know about it, we can disclose to the buyer that the shed is too close to the property line, and if they can deal with it. If they want to move it, have us move it or not or whatever, at least they know it's done. It's not going to cost us any money when it comes time for close, because if we don't disclose that stuff at time of the offer, it's not on the purchase contract, and it becomes an issue at the lawyer's office, there's going to be holdbacks, or they're going to be asking for money off to deal with the problem. So if there's a holdback and you don't have a permit for your deck, or doesn't comply, you have to get it fixed. They're going to do a holdback to make sure that you deal with it. It could probably be double what the value of what the component is. So if the deck's worth $2,000, they're probably going to ask for $4,000 or $5,000 holdback until you deal with that. And then once it's dealt with, then you'd get that back. If you don't deal with it, then they get to keep the money. So the other way of getting it dealt with would be title insurance. So title insurance is an insurance package that your lawyer will supply to the buyer at time of closing. The insurance company will insure to the buyer that there's no known problems, and so that leave you off the hook going forward. So as long as you don't know there's any problems, then you're good to go. But if there is something that you know that doesn't comply, say the deck doesn't comply for whatever reason, and we know it doesn't, the insurance company will rate that, so they'll take that out of the insurance package, and so that's not going to be covered. So that may deter a buyer from not writing on your property. Again, we're trying to make it as easy for a buyer to write on your house and take any obstacles out of the way. The bonus of title insurance would be it's quick. So if we listed your house, we didn't have time to get a real property report, and you got an offer on the second day, then chances are we would have to supply title insurance, because we could never get the RPR done on time. Or if they still wanted one, they'd be doing a holdback until we supply it. But it's a very quick process because it's done at closing. There's really nothing for the seller you to do. So the other thing is it's cost effective. So it's a lot cheaper than getting a new real property report. So that's the one good reason to get it done as well. So as representing a buyer on a buyer's purchase contract, again, on the purchase contracts, it states in there that the seller will supply a current real property report with compliance. So on the purchase contract, in the term section, if the seller was wanting you to agree to accept something less than that, like say the shed was too close to the property line and they felt they didn't want to move it, or we were probably just going to put it back to where it was anyway because you don't want it in the middle of the yard. So we would just disclose that this buyer acknowledges that the shed is too close to the property line, and the buyer accepts it. So that to me is okay. We don't really need title insurance for that, because if the RPR shows everything that's on there, but the shed is encroaching, again, like I say, most people will want the shed where it's at. If you're accepting title insurance and in lieu of an RPR, then they're not going to supply any RPR whatsoever, so you don't know what's going on in the property at all. Then you're inheriting any problems with that property going forward. So say you decide to sell in 5 years and the deck encroaches or is not up to safety code, and the fence encroaches on city property, you're going to be the owner of that problem. So that's the one negative of the buyer accepting title insurance. If you are buying a property and planning on doing a bunch of changes, so if you're going to be taking out the deck or putting a deck in and adding a shed, or if you're on an acreage, a shop or something like that, title insurance is probably not a bad thing, or not such a bad thing, because as soon as you do make a change, now that current real property report is no longer current because changes have been made. So again, going forward, when you go to sell, you're going to have to get a new RPR, or you're going to have to supply title insurance. So there's times where title insurance is not a bad thing, or not such a bad thing. But our best advice is that as a seller, get a real property report, or get your RPR updated, or a new one, so you know what's going on, because before it gets to the lawyer's office, because you're going to be dealing with it, and that's when it's going to cost you money. It's not going to cost you $800. It's going to cost you a lot more than that. And as a buyer, you don't want to be inheriting problems that you don't know of. So that's our advice to both buyer and seller. Try to get an RPR compliance. And then again, there's always some special circumstances that our title insurance will come into play. But anyway, until next time, we'll see you later. My name is Gaboury with the Gaboury team, and have a great day. Bye now.